Dad, we've looked at the brochures. Silver Oaks has a 5-star rating. It's for the best. My daughter, Elena, said that to me exactly 14 months ago. She wasn't being mean. In her eyes, she was being a good daughter. She saw a 75-year-old man who had started forgetting where he put his keys and whose knees groaned every time he stood up. To her, I was a problem that needed a professional solution. But when I looked at those brochures with their pictures of seniors playing bingo and smiling at bowls of lukewarm jello, I didn't see a resort. I saw a waiting room. A very expensive waiting room for the end of my life. Today, I live in my own home. I spend less than $500 a month on my personal upkeep. I don't have a nurse, I don't have a live-in maid, and I've never felt more alive. If you're watching this because you're aging and feeling the walls close in, or if you're a child worried about your parents, stay with me. I'm going to tell you how I escaped the gilded cage, and how I found a way to be needed again. Because the secret to aging isn't being taken care of. It's having a reason to get out of bed. After my wife, May, passed away, the silence in our house was heavy. It was a 4-bedroom colonial in the suburbs. Too big for one man and a ghost. Elena insisted I move in with her family. The grandkids miss you, she said. And for the first month, it was heaven. I had a room over the garage. I'd come down for breakfast, hear the chaos of the kids getting ready for school, and feel part of a pulse again. But then, the social contract shifted. I became the invisible guest. I'd try to help with the dishes, and Elena would say, "No, Dad, sit down. You'll break something." I'd try to pull a weed in the garden, and her husband, Mark, would say, "Don't overexert yourself, Robert. We have a service for that." They were trying to protect me, but they were actually erasing me. One night, they hosted a dinner party for Mark's business partners. I was sitting there, listening to them talk about the stock market, things I used to manage for a living. I tried to chime in with a piece of advice about a merger they were discussing. The table went silent. Elena smiled at me with that pitying look, the one you give a toddler who just said something cute but irrelevant. "That's interesting, Dad," she said, then immediately turned back to her guest. "Anyway, as I was saying. In that moment, I realized, living with your children often means becoming a prop in their lives. You're there to be loved, but not to be heard. You're safe, but you're a ghost." I moved back to my house 3 weeks later. Elena was hurt. She thought I was being stubborn. I wasn't. I just wasn't ready to be a piece of furniture. Back in my own house, I realized the kids were right about one thing: I couldn't do it all. The lawn was getting long, and the stairs were getting steeper. So, I did what the experts suggest. I hired help. I hired a young man named Leo. He was a personal assistant for seniors. He was supposed to come 3 days a week to help with groceries, light cleaning, and driving me to appointments. Leo was a nice kid. But he cost $35 an hour. Between Leo, the lawn service, the specialized meal delivery, and the premium insurance premiums, I was bleeding $4,500 a month. My executive pension and Social Security were barely keeping my head above water. I was watching my life savings money I wanted to leave for my grandkids' college evaporate just so I could have someone to carry my milk cartons. But the money wasn't even the worst part. It was the service relationship. When you pay someone to help you, you are a client. There is no soul in it. Leo would check his watch every 10 minutes. If I wanted to tell him a story about my time in the city, I could see his eyes darting to his phone. I wasn't his friend. I was a shift. I realized that professional care is a transaction. And you can't build a life on transactions. One day, Leo couldn't make it because his car broke down. I spent the day alone, unable to get to the pharmacy for my blood pressure meds. I felt pathetic. I was a man who had run companies, and now I was paralyzed because a 22-year-old's Honda Civic had a flat tire. I fired the agency the next day. I decided I'd rather fall down my own stairs than pay someone to watch me walk up them. That's when the Silver Oaks conversation happened. Elena was terrified I'd have a stroke and no one would know. To appease her, I agreed to a trial month at a high-end assisted living facility. It looked like a hotel. Crystal chandeliers. Plush carpets. There was a calendar of activities on the wall of the elevator. 10 a.m., chair yoga. 2 p.m., watercolor class. 7 p.m., movie night, The Sound of Music. It was a prison of kindness. They had a safety-first policy. I wanted to go for a walk at 11 p.m. because I've always been a night owl. The night nurse stopped me at the door. "Mr. Chen, it's not safe. We have a wandering policy." "I'm not wandering," I said. "I'm walking." "There's a difference. Rules are rules, Robert. Why don't you go back to your room and watch some TV? In Silver Oaks, you are treated like a high-risk asset. They feed you, they bathe you, and they protect you until you die of boredom." I looked around the dining hall at the other men. They looked defeated. They had handed over their keys, their schedules, and their autonomy for the promise of safety. I stayed for 12 days. On the 12th night, I packed my bag in the dark. I called a cab. When the driver arrived, I felt like I was escaping a POW camp. As the car pulled away, I looked back at the glowing sign of Silver Oaks. It was beautiful, expensive, and utterly soul-crushing. I went home to an empty house, but this time, I had a plan. I wasn't going to be taken care of. I was going to be useful. There is a young guy who lives 3 doors down named Marcus. He's a single dad, trying to run a small landscaping business while raising a 5-year-old son, Toby. I saw Marcus in his driveway one morning, looking like he was about to have a breakdown. Toby was crying because his bike chain was broken, and Marcus was on the phone trying to deal with a client whose irrigation system had burst. I walked over. I didn't ask if I could help. I just picked up the bike. "Marcus," I said. "Go deal with your client. Toby and I are going to fix this chain." Marcus looked at me like I was an angel sent from heaven. That was the beginning. Now, every day at 3:30 p.m., the school bus drops Toby off at my house. We do homework. I teach him how to use tools. We talk about history. In return, Marcus does my lawn. He shovels my snow. He picks up my heavy groceries when he's out for his own. I don't pay him. He doesn't pay me. We have a relationship. Then there's Sarah, the nurse who lives in the apartment building across the street. She works 12-hour shifts. She has a golden retriever named Barnaby who needs walking. I walk Barnaby every afternoon. It keeps me moving. It keeps my heart strong. In exchange, Sarah checks my vitals once a week. She organized my pill cabinet. She's the one who will notice if my lights don't come on in the morning. My monthly expenses: property taxes, utilities, simple fresh groceries, and a little gas for my old truck. It comes to just under $500 of discretionary spending. But the care I receive, it's priceless. And it's free. Because I'm giving as much as I'm getting. People think that as you get older, your world has to shrink. They think you have to choose between a nursing home or being a burden to your children. They're wrong. The most dangerous thing an elderly person can do is stop being needed. When you stop being needed, your body decides it's finished. I'm 76 years old. My knees still hurt. I still miss my wife every single day. But I'm not a client. I'm a neighbor. I'm a mentor. I'm a dog walker. If you're aging, don't look for a facility with the best amenities. Look for a neighborhood with the most people who need you. Don't buy care. Build community. Elena still worries, but she sees me now. She sees Toby running into my arms. She sees Barnaby wagging his tail at my gate. She knows I'm not just safe. I'm alive. Your best years aren't the ones where you did everything yourself. And they aren't the ones where everyone does everything for you. Your best years are the ones where you are part of the great exchange. Go find someone who needs you. That's where your life is waiting. If you found Robert's story inspiring, don't just watch and walk away. Think about someone in your life who needs you, maybe a neighbor, a grandchild, or even a friend who could use your time and wisdom. Aging doesn't mean fading into the background. It means finding new ways to be part of life, to matter, and to create connections that are meaningful. Your experience, your skills, and your care are gifts that can't be bought. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more real-life stories and insights about aging with purpose and independence. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this message, because everyone deserves to feel needed, valued, and alive. Remember, your best years aren't behind you, they're waiting in the relationships you build, the help you give, and the joy you bring to others. Go out there and be needed. Go out there and live fully.